No, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be the guy that admits this. I'm approaching a midlife crisis and I don't want change. I don't like it. It scares me.
Welcome, Walt Disney World fans, to another episode of the Notcast, presented by Knot Club 33. On the show today, we're talking about Piston Peak National Park. It's not a real national park. It's the Cars area coming to Frontierland. My name is Steve Rhodes. With me today, it's Pat Neistat.
What's up?
Say hi to Becky Wells.
Hey.
And big what's up to Mr. Bobby Burchins, the Disney Cynic.
Did you guys know that in 1934, a guy tried to crash land a plane into Mount Everest so that he could be the first one to the top?
Did he survive? That's the question.
So he didn't make it there with the plane, but he did get to the mountain and then he died because he's an idiot. But it sounds like a fascinating story. I mean,
good for him.
You know.
No movies
No,
about
I did
it?
not know.
No. In fact, I would love to write the Monty Python version of this because that's how it'd have to be.
Okay.
Speaking of mountains, there is a prominent mountain in the background of the concept art we got recently from the Disney Parks blog showing, I guess that's Big Thunder there in the background, as you can see on your screen. But the concept art for the Cars attraction that is coming to what is now Rivers of America / Tom Sawyer Island, etc., etc. That's all closing on July the 7th of 2025
Soon.
and being replaced by Cars. Pat, in the group chat, you said you loved that they're keeping the water. I'll let you go first because you seem the most excited about.
Well, I think
water.
the water, the ambience of the Rivers of America, like the water, like kind of makes that area. And from the first concept art we got, it just looked like all concrete. So I am glad they're going to have this like little stream, and it looks like from the picture, like coming down from the bayou, that water like somehow goes through this whole area. Looks like it's all connected.
Yeah.
I don't know. The one thing I do like about this is that now everything is connected. Like you go through Frontierland, you go to the bayou, you go to Big Thunder Mountain, and then you don't have to turn around and come back. You loop around.
Yeah.
So I think that's that. And then thematically, it doesn't look terrible.
No.
So
thematically,
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. Hopefully they put time and detail into it and it looks nice.
Becky, we've seen these concept art drawings before. How much of this do you think will ring true? Is the water even going to be there? I think that's the question that everybody's going to
I think so. They were talking about forming the edge with tree line to kind of make the sight line not be psychotic from certain angles. And if they pull this off to make it look like, pretty much Northern California blended into, some Utah and whatever, like it's going to be amazing. I know we already know they can do it. Like there's Wilderness Lodge, there's Grand California, and there's that entire section of California Adventure that none of you have seen that looks like this. It's like Grizzly Peak, which is kind of like their water ride over there, and Cars Land. That whole area kind of is this exact vibe. It's a different park than where their Big Thunder Mountain is, but this is not going to look like the Cars Land there. So I think that it's easy enough to pull like the key features from that and throw it here and make it blend into the other existing pieces, Tiana's and even like Frontier Square, like all like Liberty Square, all of the, I think it's going to be awesome. Whether it'll actually look like the concept art, who the hell knows? Right. I don't know. I think the name works perfectly because of, I like that they are calling like from the Cars cinematic universe. Like just cracks me up. As you guys know, my family has a major affinity for this franchise. So
yeah. You do. I will say now with this art, it makes more sense that Tiana's Bayou Adventure, it looks more in like
it flows
it's
more.
Supposed to be there. Yeah. So
and and there's the whole thing with losing the ambiance of the riverboat and the Tom Sawyer Island. Bobby, I'll let you opine on that. I'm sure, as you're the one that always wants them to expand and not take things away. But go ahead and give your thoughts on the changes that you see with the concept art, at least being updated, and then
It
your full
it
thoughts.
doesn't feel like you can tell all that much because it's still a cartoon at
Fair.
this point from the concept art.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to give it more of a chance, even with Becky saying what she has about the original California Adventure area and everything. I think my bigger objection to this, it maybe not even necessarily from an intellectual property standpoint, which, by the way, can we just say that the Cars franchise is just batshit crazy? I mean, it presumes that track and field would be like the most popular sport. That's ridiculous.
Eh,
Absolutely insane. Anyway,
okay.
so well, it
Okay.
does.
It's
Anyway,
a cartoon, dude.
it also has like a Pope Mobile for a
And also,
Pope
some cars
Mobile.
can talk. We can start there.
So can Mickey Mouse, who has a pet dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, right.
I guess the only thing that I'm maybe concerned about more so is that a lot of the attractions seem to be kind of repeat or retooled attractions, and they've done that for years. Obviously, they've done that with Indiana Jones out on the West Coast and Dinosaur here. I'm not saying that it's never happened before, but when as a Disney World fan in particular, not necessarily just Disney parks altogether, and certainly not right these days, a Disney IP fan and everything. I'm concerned that Florida's going to get left behind, and that Florida doesn't get anything unique to Florida anymore. It's going to go into the Abu Dhabis, it's going to go into the Chinas and the Japan parks, and I feel like a lot of the attractions that are coming up are going to be a little bit more of those kind of retooled attractions that aren't necessarily unique to Florida.
This looks pretty
I
thought
unique to
this-
me.
this
I mean,
one is
I thought
all
this-
like
the whole
completely
new-
different.
yeah, it's new. Yeah.
And the foreign
Perhaps
parks
I'm wrong, but
are
like I said,
not
even
any
said
Disney
that. It's new,
budget,
yeah.
so
I'm just
they're
saying
going
that's
to
my
make them as big
concern
as they
with it.
can. But
I
yeah,
wonder-
I hope so. I genuinely hope so. But like I said, I don't feel like the Florida parks have been getting a lot of the love here of late. And part of it is maybe just me
A new
being bitter
resort.
as a local. But truthfully, I don't feel like that same sort of investment, even in something like Guardians of the Galaxy, which is an amazing attraction. Don't get me wrong. But we joke about something like Sightlines. This never would have happened under a different regime, and there's just this giant building that everybody can see from pretty much every vantage point inside the park. That's just not something that would fly back in the day. There would be a way to integrate it a little bit better. So that's the kind of trust that I'm not like completely comfortable in giving this next generation of Disney Imagineers. I'm presuming that a torch has been passed since they've let the head of Imagineering go, if I'm not mistaken, or have they not yet?
No.
I thought they had
like
recently. But
You mean like
once
6 months
Iger-
ago? Yeah.
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 So
Well, yeah, it was a little
there's
longer
obviously
ago
like
than
a
Yeah.
They brought in
changing of
Vaughn.
the
Yeah.
guard type thing, and so perhaps this next generation will do something very different and very cool. Who knows? But
I mean,
at the
this
same
concept art.
time,
Yeah.
I'm cautious about all of it because I know what the solid product is. I'd like for them to prove it somewhere, on property and make it their own thing before they screw up something that I like.
I will say, like, when you come into Liberty Square from like where the castle area is over that bridge, and you can see like the Liberty boat entrance, like the place where
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to see all this, or is this big mountain with the waterfalls going to be blocking everything?
I think that's yet to be seen. Yeah.
I can't
Yeah,
remember
because-
how they describe where the rotation of that tree line is supposed to, like, which direction it'll all go. Because I think you probably still see Big Thunder in the background, and then like
So
looking
this is
at
going
Big
to be
Thunder to the
lower, though.
left. Yeah, but I think
Because the
the
lake is
biggest part
down.
will be
So
But
is it gonna
pretend
be
you
mean,
couldn't see
we have no
Fantasyland
idea.
from Liberty from Liberty Square when the park opened. It's just, I mean, people make up all this, they conjure up all this bullshit, and it's just like you could be sitting at Liberty Square, you saw Fantasyland, like when, that was forever.
And what about the noise?
What are we talking about?
How are they going to keep the noise from everywhere else?
That is the thing that I think people actually will have a legitimate gripe about is, what are these things run? If they're electric, then probably won't be much noise. If it's Tomorrowland Speedway, then you got a different vibe.
Right?
Smell.
Do you think they'll be gas?
No, there's no way. They can't.
They can't
just
be.
get Fillmore out there.
I could see them doing it to spite certain people. I'm just saying.
It just seems like if they did that, then if they do go that route and make it a gas ride, which they're not gonna, but if they did, then it's like, okay, why didn't you just reskin Tomorrowland Speedway? Because then all the people that has been saying that are gonna be like, okay, really, you really messed this up.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I still think that they have. I think that that's what they're actually doing is slow
what
replacing
we've got is
it.
a lot of people pretending like they were getting on the Liberty boat and pretending like they were going to Tom Sawyer Island. And
oh no,
you fucking know that's not true. Nobody sitting here did.
No,
you at home didn't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Stop lying.
One time.
You're mad about it. Yeah, you're mad because they changed something. You're not mad because you're missing out.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the guy that admits this. I'm approaching a midlife crisis and I don't want change. I don't like it. It scares me.
Well,
at least you know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think this attraction is going to be shut down? But since it's all outside. If it rains, is it going to shut down?
Well, I think a lot of it is
absolutely has to.
I think the actual
Riverboat, Tom Sawyer Island, weather come in, couldn't go there
for sure. I think there's enough of what I remembered seeing was like there's the attraction, like the ride, if you will, and then the rest of it is kind of almost like a walk-through experience type situation, if I read that right. Yeah. So, like, they won't shut the entire land down, so there'd still be plenty of, like, things and cars, whatever.
I'm just talking about the ride itself.
For sure. I mean, as any of the other, lightning killed things. So, that's just the nature of it.
I'm just talking about rain. Just straight rain.
You would hope not for... drizzle.
Yeah, that would seem.
But they do with Test Track, and that's and I'm certain that they would out in California more often.
We don't know what
rained that heavy.
Yeah, we don't know.
This track is being redone, but if it's the same company that's doing all the stuff that's done Disney and now Universal, we see at Epic like fucking
that shuts down. Most of Epic shuts down when it rains.
So it's like I think Disney and Universal are using the same company to build these things, and
so that's doing
it doesn't account for rain in Florida.
Even though one of their main offices is there, it makes no sense.
Literally, what I do for a living.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're at. I think, but to give my quick 2 cents, I think if they stick with this second generation concept art and keep going that theme, it's going to be great, especially if they keep the water and they, I don't think the water from Tiana's obviously is going to flow, but make it look like it does or whatever. That would look really cool.
Well,
to have a gushing creek coming off of that. And then that's filling the creek, filling
or
and
even
around.
Having in the background some mountains with a spring that feeds what eventually becomes the bayou. Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, this is me saying this. I fucking hated all of this. It doesn't seem half bad from the concept art. It's just I don't
like
trust
all the
engineers to follow through.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say the latest thing that they did was Geo 82 in the concept art versus the reality we can now actually see. And it looks pretty damn similar. We did promise you a Geo 82 show. We said that last time, but we had some technical difficulties recording it. Then life got in the way. So you will get that show next episode. If you want to know when that episode drops, you should turn on those notifications. If you like this show, hit like. It really helps us out in YouTube's algorithm. Consider subscribing because it is free to do so, and it really helps out our channel.
So, as you can see, the feed dropped out again right at the end of sign-off here, which didn't bode well for later in the night when we tried to record Geo 82 for the second time. So that show we tried multiple times to record, and it kept erroring out on us. So yeah, we'll get it to you at some point, or maybe we'll just go there and post some social media stuff. But either way, thanks for sticking with us. Like, subscribe, do all the notifications business, and we'll see you next time.